You wake up, you grab your phone, and there's an email you weren't expecting. Your account has been locked due to inactivity. You stare at it for a second. You think, that's weird. Then you think, I'll deal with that later, because you're busy. You've got work, you've got bills, you've got life, and besides, it's probably not that much money anyway, right? Here's the uncomfortable part. That exact moment, that shrug, that delay, that quiet, I'll do it later, is how thousands of dollars disappear from people who are otherwise responsible with money. Not gamblers, not reckless spenders, normal people, people who save, people who invest, people who try to do the right thing. If that feels uncomfortably familiar, yeah, keep watching. My name is Peter, and I spend way too much time thinking about how money quietly leaks out of people's lives in ways no one ever warns them about. And if you're someone who saves a little, invests a little, and still feels like your money never quite adds up, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Because today we're talking about something no one treats like a real financial risk, even though it absolutely is: forgetting a password. Now look, on the surface, this sounds ridiculous. A password isn't money. A password isn't an expense. A password doesn't show up on your bank statement. So how could forgetting one possibly cost you thousands? Here's the thing. Modern finance isn't built on cash anymore. It's built on accounts. And every account you don't actively touch starts behaving very differently the moment you disappear. This is where it gets interesting. Most people think money only moves when you make a decision. You spend it, you invest it, you withdraw it. But in reality, money moves when you don't make decisions too. And forgetting a password is one of the cleanest ways to opt out of protecting your own money, without even realizing you've done it. Let me show you how this actually plays out. Say you open a high-yield savings account. You put in $3,000. You feel responsible. You feel smart. Then life happens. You change phones. You switch emails. You forget which password manager you used. You try logging in once. It doesn't work. You get annoyed. And you think, I'll fix this later. That later turns into months. Months turn into years. And here's what most people don't realize. Once an account goes inactive, the rules change. Fees appear that didn't exist before. Interest rates quietly drop. Promotional benefits disappear. And eventually, depending on the institution and the state, that money can legally be classified as abandoned. That's not dramatic language. That's the actual term. Abandoned property. In the United States alone, state governments are currently holding over $70 billion in unclaimed assets, forgotten bank accounts, investment accounts, insurance payouts, unused prepaid cards. According to the National Association of Unclaimed Property Administrators, 1 in 10 people has unclaimed money waiting for them. 1 in 10. And those are just the accounts that eventually get reported. Now you might be thinking, okay, but if it's still my money, I can just claim it later. Technically, yes. Psychologically, almost no one does. Because the moment you forget a password, you introduce friction. And friction is the enemy of follow-through. Here's a metaphor that explains this perfectly. Imagine you have a box with $5,000 inside. It's sitting in a storage unit across town. You lost the key. You could call the company. You could show your ID. You could fill out the paperwork. You could wait a few weeks. But every step feels annoying, so you don't do it. That's exactly how forgotten accounts work, except the storage company is quietly charging you rent, lowering your access priority, and changing the ownership rules while you procrastinate. And this is where psychology kicks in. Humans massively undervalue money we can't immediately see or access. Behavioral economists call this mental accounting. If money isn't mentally categorized as usable, we stop treating it like real money. Studies published in behavioral finance journals show that people discount inaccessible money by 30 to 40% in their minds. So your $5,000 forgotten account doesn't feel like $5,000 anymore. It feels like nothing. Which is why people don't fight very hard to get it back. Now look, companies know this. This isn't an accident. Financial institutions track something called breakage. That's money that technically belongs to customers, but statistically is unlikely to ever be claimed. And breakage is insanely profitable. Unused gift cards alone generate over $10 billion a year in pure profit. That's money people already earned, already owned, already paid for. They just forgot the access. Passwords, PINs, and logins are the modern locks on your money. And forgetting them doesn't freeze your money. It starts a countdown. Now let's talk about retirement accounts, because this is where the damage gets serious. Every year, millions of people change jobs and leave behind old 401s, Ks. Small balances, $1,000 here, $4,000 there. According to the U.S. Government Accountability Office, Forgotten retirement accounts cost Americans tens of billions of dollars over time. Not because of bad investments, because of neglect. Here's the math no one shows you. Say you forget a $4,000 account at age 30. It sits in a high-fee plan. It earns maybe 4% instead of 8%. By age 65, that difference alone can cost you over $20,000. Not because you messed up, but because you forgot a password and never rolled it over. Now you might be thinking, but I'm organized. I use a password manager. Good. So do a lot of people. Until they don't. Until they change phones. Until they stop paying for the premium version. Until they forget the master password. I've seen people lose access to crypto wallets worth 6 figures because one phrase was written down wrong. And before you dismiss that, the same thing happens in traditional finance, just slower and quieter. Banks don't chase you down forever. Brokerages don't beg you to log back in. At a certain point, they just move on. And this is the uncomfortable truth. From a company's perspective, forgotten customers are ideal. They don't complain, they don't withdraw, they don't require support. They just sit there, earning less, paying more, eventually disappearing. Here's what most people don't realize. Inactivity fees are designed to be invisible. $5 a month, $10 a quarter, that doesn't feel dangerous. But over 10 years, that's thousands of dollars quietly drained from accounts no one's watching. And because it's slow, your brain never registers it as a loss. This is loss aversion at work. We hate losing money, but only when we feel the loss. Slow leaks don't trigger pain, they trigger apathy. And that's why forgetting a password is the perfect way to lose money. No alarms, no urgency, no stress, just erosion. Now look, this isn't about being careless. This happens to smart people, doctors, engineers, accountants, because the financial system assumes something unrealistic, that you'll remember everything forever, every login, every account, every platform you ever signed up for. That's not human, and the system quietly profits from that. Here's the part no one tells you. You don't lose money when you forget a password. You lose money when you delay fixing it. Because delay compounds. Every year you wait, the effort required to recover that money increases. More forms, more verification, more friction. Eventually, your brain decides it's not worth it. And that moment, that's when the money is truly gone. So, what do you actually do? Not vague advice, not be more organized, real steps. First, create a single source of truth, one place where every financial account lives. Account name, institution, type. Last time you logged in, that's it. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is visibility, because money you can see doesn't get abandoned. Second, reschedule friction on purpose. Once a year, pick a date. Log into every financial account you own, even if you don't need to, especially if you don't need to. You're not checking balances. You're telling the system, I still exist. That alone can prevent fees, benefit loss, and abandonment. Third, consolidate aggressively. Small accounts are the most dangerous accounts. They're easy to forget and emotionally easy to ignore. Rolling a $1,500 account into a larger one doesn't just help returns, it protects it from being forgotten. And finally, treat passwords like assets, because they are. A password isn't just access, it's ownership. Losing one is closer to losing a key than forgetting a number, and keys should never exist in only one place. Now here's the motivating part. This isn't about fear. It's about reclaiming money you already earned. Statistically speaking, you probably have money somewhere that feels lost, but isn't. And the only thing standing between you and that money is attention, not intelligence, not income. Attention. Because the biggest myth in personal finance isn't that people are bad with money, it's that money disappears because of bad decisions. Most of the time, it disappears because of forgotten ones. So, if this video made you a little uncomfortable, good. That means you're paying attention, and attention is how money stops leaking. If you want more videos like this, the stuff no one explains but everyone experiences, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.